Wonderful to meet you. I was just wondering if we could do a rampage of appreciation.
We've been rampaging all day here today. Really, we have. We're happy to give you whatever you want, but what is the subject? You see, we've been talking about momentum already here today. So you can rampage down the emotional scale. A lot of people do that. You can rampage up the emotional scale. So where are we? We're rampaging to what from where?
Okay.
Because if we rampage higher on the emotional scale than you are, then you can't hook on. It's like that playground merry-go-round that's the kids are on it, it's already going too fast and you want on, but every time you try to get on you just get pushed off in the bushes. So we got to start where you are or you won't be able to get on the rampage. So where are you? And then we'll rampage upward.
Well, just to share real quickly,
Yeah.
I get on these kicks, like these Abraham kicks,
Yeah.
where I'll be doing really good. I'll be tapping in, and then I'll have days where I cannot connect to source at all. Like I just feel.
That's sort of what we were saying to you just now.
Yeah.
It's like if you're trying to hook up at a frequency that you're not at, then you can't do it. And so the first thing we want to say to you is, don't be mad at yourself that you're not at that frequency. That's why we say things like contrast is a really good thing and step one is important.
Oh, I've built a house on step one. I'm there a lot.
But are you not just accepting and all right with that? Do you really understand the importance of step one?
Yes, but I beat myself up for
All right,
being
so now
there.
we know exactly how this rampage goes. So you just listen and we'll just rampage.
Okay.
But at first it won't feel like it. At
All right,
first it'll feel really slow.
That's fine.
So we're going to speak from your perspective because you're the rampager here.
Mm-hmm.
So Abraham, a lot of times I feel like I'm right on track. I know what I'm doing and it's satisfying to focus and do it. And a lot of the times not so much. And I admit that I have all of my life been sensitive to what's going on around me. Before I met you and learned about calibrating to my inner being, I calibrated to almost everybody around me. I could have been called a chameleon because I was so interested in finding approval of others or at least harmony with others that I guess I really understand what calibrating. It seemed like the path of least resistance, honestly. It seemed like the path of least resistance to me, to sort of go along to get along and to not make waves. And I had enough experiences where I made some waves that it didn't turn out all that good, and then I didn't quite know what to do about it. And I really want to believe you, Abraham, when you say that I can be or do or have anything. But honestly, right now, I do not believe that I can be or do or have anything. But I can say that my desire is strong. I do want to identify. I do want to be that kind of a focuser and that kind of a creator. I've listened to you here today. We're getting all of this from the vibration that is you. I've listened to you here today and I felt resonance with a lot of what you've said. But even as I'm listening to it, I keep finding myself taking score of where I am and sort of being a little mad at myself that it isn't going better and faster for me. And so that's why I can say I've built a house out of being in step one, because I know what I don't want and I often know what I do want, but I don't think I'm quite good or quite fast enough at making the bridge from what I don't want to what I do want. That is hard. It's hard to be looking at what is and find something that feels better. It's like what is so compelling that it's hard not to notice it. So what I'm looking for is a way to prime the pump. I'm looking for a way to get some juices flowing earlier. I don't want to jump all the way because I've tried that and I've accomplished it a few times, but I can't sustain it. So I don't want to jump so far that I can't sustain it. What I'm really looking for in this rampage is a way to just go as far as I can reach. Jerry used to say, put your basket out there close enough that when you hit it, you know you can, but far enough away that when you hit it, you're glad that you hit it. I want to know what I'm reaching for. I want to reach far enough that I feel good about myself when I do, but not so far that I keep showing myself that I can't. I want to have that differentiation. I guess what I'm asking for is I want more steady guidance from my inner being, who you said, Abraham, knows where I'm standing. I like the idea that my inner being is watching me. Oh yeah, big time. And that my inner being is knowing where I stand in relationship to the things that I want. And I like knowing that my inner being is proud of me, blah, 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 and all of that stuff. But I sense that my inner being's pride of me is not really what I'm going for here. It's me finding a way to match that pride. So I got to find some way of feeling about myself the way my inner being feels about me. And so I'm going to not put the basket out so far, but put it out far enough that it feels good to me. And so with that in mind, it's my intention to acknowledge that my inner being exists. And I do acknowledge that. Nothing else makes sense to me. Also, it's not hard for me to acknowledge that my inner being is aware of me. I like the idea that I'm an extension of that. And I also like the idea that my inner being stayed behind, so to speak, in the non-physical realm in order to hold steady to the momentum of the well-being that is me. I can accept that I established a lot of well-being. I can acknowledge that I am pure positive energy in non-physical. I can accept that from the non-physical standpoint, I was good. What I'm having a hard time with, Abraham, is accepting that I'm still good now that I've been here in this physical body. I'm not sure that I'm worthy of my inner being's love and attention, and I think that might be what I'm most reaching for. I acknowledge that my inner being exists, but I want to know that my inner being feels good about me. I want to know that my inner being feels good about me. That's really what I'm reaching for. I'm reaching for confirmation that I am loved anyway, that I'm loved even though I didn't understand, and that I'm loved even though I had negative emotion, that I'm loved even though I did stuff that other people didn't approve of. I really like the idea, Abraham, of calibrating to my inner being, who you say always loves me. Okay, I can acknowledge that my inner being always does, even though a lot of people didn't always. A lot of people need different things in order to give you constant approval. In fact, I don't think that I could ever get constant approval from any human. Do you think so, Abraham? No, we do not think so. You cannot get constant approval from anybody. You're looking for approval and love in all the wrong places when you're looking out into the human stream of consciousness. Your inner being is where it's at. Okay, I'm getting a little more sure of myself because I accept that my inner being exists, and I accept that my inner being could really be that pure positive energy that you're saying it is. And I want to say that I'm ready to put my basket out there far enough that I want to calibrate with my inner being. In fact, I can even go so far as to say that I no longer want to calibrate with other people, not even my girlfriend, not anybody. I'm off the pleasing game. I don't want to please anybody anymore. I'm going to start paying attention to the relationship between me and me, because you have convinced me in large part just today, Abraham, that that is where it's at. That my point of attraction really could depend an awful lot on me being a vibrational match to my inner being, who is only pure positive energy. That seems like a huge advantage to me. If I could calibrate to my inner being, who is always looking at me and always loving me and always attracting on my behalf from a place of no resistance, that sounds like a really good deal to me. And I'm starting to accept that that's how my inner being is looking at me. And I'm starting to accept that that's how I've got to look at my inner being looking at me. And so I'm in that far. I accept that I have an inner being, and I accept that my inner being's on my side. And I accept that the only one who has ever not been on my side that mattered was me. Didn't matter who else wasn't on my side. None of that matters, because they are not my point of attraction. My point of attraction is only me and my inner being, 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 me and my inner being. That's my only point of attraction. And all these well-wishers or naysayers who have a lot to say about a lot of things, they really don't have anything to do with me. That's like a sort of huge kind of relief. Like, I can let them all off the hook. I don't have to convince them anymore. I don't have to control them anymore. I don't have to get them to see something that they can't see. I can accept that they can only see what they can see. So I'm going to look in the direction of my inner being, who I know sees me and sees them. I really like the idea of being a cooperative component. I really like the idea of just softening myself enough that I'm a cooperative component, enough that I can feel my own well-being. I like it so much when Abraham says that there's nothing that you're supposed to do. that you're not assigned to anything, that you didn't come with a long list of prerequisites that you've got to supply or support or accomplish. I like knowing that I was loved by Source and that I came into this body willingly because I like the idea of expanding myself and the universe through the clarity of my focus. And I have always been interested in what's going on around me, more interested than almost anybody. It got me in a lot of trouble. Too interested for my own good. But now I'm starting to understand who I am and why I'm here, and that my focus matters. My focus matters and my alignment matters, and maybe that's as far as I need to go right now. Because I sure can tell you what I want. I sure can tell you what I want. I can tell you what I want about everything. Right now I feel crystal clear about everything that I want. I want a happier humanity. I want people to be nicer to each other. I want the love part of people to be the part that is dominant. Most of all, I want to not need them to be that way in order for me to be that way. I want to be able to let the masses be whatever they choose to be while I deal with what I am choosing to be. And I think I might have just discovered a feeling of freedom bigger than I've ever really had before, because there's not anything that I really have to do to get there except just join my inner being in something that my inner being already is. My inner being is already in love with everyone on the planet. And my inner being is already in vibrational concert with all of their inner beings. And all of their inner beings are all calling all of those humans into the love that they naturally are. And a lot of that is happening. And when it isn't happening, it's just because some folks aren't ready. But I'm willing to say right now, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to know that. I've decided I'm going to stop looking for trouble. I'm not going to look for trouble, because every time I look for trouble, I find it. It's like every time I look for trouble, it shows up. I don't want to find trouble anymore. I'm not looking for trouble anymore. What I'm looking for is fun and beauty and clarity and love and good feelings and harmony and knowing who I am. And right now, this red hot minute, I would like to exclaim that I am there. I am there. I'm there right now. I'm there right now, and I really like it. I don't expect that it will last constantly, but I do know that I can get there again if I try. And I've watched you, Abraham. I've watched you. You've just been rambling kind of senselessly. You've just been rambling about good things, but you've hit right on the mark with me again and again and again. It's like you really do know me, and it's like you really do love me. It's like you really do accept me right where I am. And it's like you really do know what I intended to be and do and have when I came forth. And I don't know what it is that I'm here to be or do or have, but I think that feeling good is the way that I figure it out. And I don't think that it's something to get done and get done once and for all. I think it's something that's just satisfying in this moment and 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 in this moment.